All right, welcome back, YouTube. We are live. As always, let me know if you can't hear me, but I'm going to go ahead and get into things. I just wanted to do some TA. Going to take a look at. Excuse me. Going to take a look at some of the short price action today, and confirm that with the pools of liquidity, because we see that as we get closer to the dates that we are expecting to hear from the Fed, we see that the shorts are pretty much taking a aggressive position, which is normal ahead of like any type of like negative news, or if they're trying to get the ability to influence the price action in one direction or another. This will typically be the case, but we know over the past few weeks or the past month, it's held up pretty well, even comparing itself to something like a Bitcoin or something like that. Dogecoin has stayed within a very small range of roughly around a cent. So we're literally just been moving like tenths of a cent and stuff like that, no matter what the news is. So this is really good for the price action here. But I do want to talk about this huge green candle we see here. This is what happened today, right? We were pretty much dipping below our 200-day moving average on the shorts, which is great, right? But typically when we do that, we'll have like a run up to the 200-day moving average when we dip up, and then we'll have a break. But you'll see we dip down briefly right below the 200-day moving average, and then we got a huge spike here where we are now above the 21-day moving average. There's four moving averages here: 200-day, 72-day, 50-day, and 20-day. Excuse me, and 21-day, right? We are now above all of them in one day. So this is one spike that took us from below 200 to above the 21-day moving average, and it's already curved our 21-day moving average, right? So I'll get into why I think this is. This is, again, they're typically ahead of any type of negative. This is not specifically for Dogecoin, but negative news regarding like the economy and stuff like that. You'll see that people will start taking positions off of where they think consumer demand or fear, stuff like that, may drive the price. So a couple weeks ago, the Atlanta Federal Reserve kind of like confirmed and said that we had a second negative quarter, right? And they submitted those numbers. The Fed will hear from them within the next week or so, and they'll give us the official report. But more or less, they are saying that this is officially we're in a recession. I think the average for the year right now is like negative 1.7% or something like that. And I know the Feds have been talking and putting out like their propaganda and stuff, because over the last few months, it's been normal for them to try and price it in prior to any type of announcement, and so that it doesn't necessarily like rug pull the market or cause like a mass panic or something like that, if they in fact have to do another reversal and say that, okay, well, we're going to be more aggressive with these point hikes. So I do believe this is shorts, or people who are short on the coin, stuff like that, that are taking positions ahead of time, because they believe that they can possibly get some liquidity from the coin breaking down, or just from a sell-off due to the panic and stuff like that. Again, nothing abnormal here. This is pretty standard. But if you saw that earlier today, Doge dipped down to like around like 5 cents or something like that, this is the reason, right? So whenever you see the price do like a drop, or if it breaks like a trend like abruptly, like if we've been in around 6 cents for a few weeks now, and then you see a dip down, like if you have the access to charts like this, check the shorts, and you'll typically see an opposite candle, right? Because this is typically what happens when you have a sharp breakdown. You'll see a sharp spike on the opposite side. So it's not uncommon here. And we're going to take a look here at the pools of liquidity, and then I'll come back to this chart here. Just let me switch over. I'm going to switch. This is going to be pretty much live, the price action, and where okay, you guys can see it. Okay, so this is going to be live where the price action is and where the buy orders are and sell orders. So these are the buy orders below our equilibrium, sell orders obviously up here. So as of right now, you'll see that there's a good gap between the equilibrium price and the sell order. So we should not receive any more selling pressure, at least right now or tonight. This can change at any time, obviously, but as of right now, the buy orders are running a much tighter line than the sells, right? So we're literally trending right along these buy orders. We just got the breakdown here, the sell, and we hit this pool of liquidity and it filled and we got a buy order. And you can see as of right now from 6 down to, was this 597, we have a lot of buy orders. This is the darker red and darker orange that we're seeing here. And then even down to as far as like a 595, you'll see that there are buy orders already in place. And again, this is much tighter than the sell side. So if they were to come back and push some more sells in, those will execute. And okay, yeah, so you see how big that green dot just got? So this is it hitting this pool of liquidity and those orders are getting filled. So just like this, in the event that you see them try and tighten up around the sell side, which it looks like something's coming in here, they'll start bouncing a lot on a much tighter ratio, and it'll hit these pools of liquidity, and it should give it some pushback, and unless these get really, really strong and they start spiking even more. But today was considerable. The spike that we got today was certainly considerable. So if you saw that and were alarmed or something like that, that's not necessarily the community selling off and stuff like that, because you'll see that they'll try and take advantage of like negative propaganda, or you'll see some articles and stuff come out and they'll try and capitalize off of that. And you'll have, if you're not careful, you'll say, oh, the community's selling and stuff like that. No, this was proven when you looked at the price of Bitcoin and you saw like a lot of the negative news and stuff kind of like circulating and stuff like that. And we saw the shorts come down and Doge rose higher around like 7 cents or so like that. And that was more of a true reflection of the community and the buy orders and stuff that were coming in. Volume is still low, but the price was more stable. So that means that the community in general is doing what they're saying they're doing, which is holding, not necessarily aggressively buying, but they're holding onto their position. So when you see these large swings, they're typically going to be influenced. And just keep that in mind as we get closer to some of these dates where this information and stuff like that is coming out for the macros. That's ultimately going to give us an idea. Bitcoin here, yeah, massive pressure here to get Bitcoin down. Yeah, really big sell orders coming in. There's some space here right now, so it should, unless some liquidity comes in, it should continue sideways unless this tightens up right here. But the orders that were executed, this is some massive sell orders to get the price down. So, but you'll see the green arrows over here. This is, what is this, 19,380. So yeah, let's say around like 19,275. It starts getting really strong and stuff like that. So you'll certainly see, if you look at over here to the right, you'll see that there's more buys than sells in. So that's that's fine for right now. So it should hold up at around the 19 mark. This is back to Dogecoin. Let's see. So if Doge hits, let's say 604, that's where you're going to see a big push down from Doge if it hits 604. But this is, just like I said a few moments ago, they're going to try, it looks like they're trying to tighten up. So this is where you have the sell orders coming in as they're trying to tighten up. And, they'll hit these pools of liquidity and they'll execute. So I'm going to go back to trading view now, and then I'll take some questions. One sec. Yeah, and I see what you guys are saying, that you're in it for the long term. Yeah, that's fine. I'm long term as well. I look at both just because I need to know as far as for entries and stuff like that. That's why I say I like these prices, just because of what I see on the like the daily, and this is obviously like a minute by minute on a book map. These are live actions and buy and sell orders. But I usually look at these to try to determine, okay, great prices, great entry. How does this match up with volume? Where trends and stuff like that. I just use it to kind of complement my my charting and stuff like that. And if you guys want access to this program, you can. I do have a link in the description for it. So I'm going to switch back over. Okay, cool. So let's see. And then let's see, which exchange can I buy Doge and not get trapped? You can buy, so it's not necessarily buying the Doge that's going to be an issue. It doesn't even, I'll even go as far as to say it doesn't necessarily matter which exchanges that you buy it on. The only option that you have to make sure is that A, you do have a wallet to transfer away from that exchange, and B, you're not using the exchange as a wallet, basically. That's going to be the biggest thing. The biggest thing is making sure that you're not holding on said exchange. That's how you may possibly get trapped, because you don't know what their financial standing is until they pull the plug, and then they start writing out articles and stuff like that a few days later. So that's going to be the biggest issue. So get yourself something that you have your own keys, something like a ledger, and you'll be fine. But you can buy from anything and just switch over as long as you have a wallet on that exchange. Those are going to be the two biggest things. So just make sure that you have a method to leave the exchange. So because sometimes the exchange will, because there's several exchanges that have not come out and froze assets for sale. They're saying that you can sell, but that's because you don't have the option to leave because they don't offer wallets. So they never necessarily lose the same type of liquidity because of this movement of like move your coins and not your keys, not your crypto and stuff like that. So always make sure that you have access to a wallet at that particular exchange so that you can get out of there. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. They can't stop the Doge community. The central banks has lost control, and we know it. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I do expect the regulation and stuff that's going to come from the whole USDC thing and these exchanges. I expect them to kind of swoop in and with their Fed coin, because I do believe that's coming. I expect it to be used as an angle to kind of like hold up their coin and say, hey, if you guys, if you're scared or if you're worried about XYZ, this is going to happen, and this is backed up by this institution, guaranteed money and stuff like that, to kind of have it as an alternative. I see them building a case for their coin that way. I say, do you think Coinbase is safe? Too big to fail? I don't think Coinbase, I wouldn't say necessarily safe, but I'll say it'll take a lot, like something like a Coinbase or FTX or Binance or something like that. Those are going to be like your titans, right? I'll say that I won't use the word safer, but I'll say that it's less likely it'll happen. But for my assets and what I'm doing, I wouldn't trust it, right? So I'll say it's less likely, but I don't want to use the word safe because I feel like that's misleading. Hey, Dave, I have everything on Robinhood, lost a lot, but not everything. I'm so scared. Do you have the ability to transfer away from Robinhood? Because Robinhood has wallets. I know some people say they couldn't. I'm not sure if you're like in New York or something like that. But if you have the ability to get away from Robinhood, I would certainly do so. Even go to something like a trust wallet or something. Because Robinhood, I know that Robinhood hasn't necessarily done so just yet, but oh, you are in New York. Okay. Yeah, that's an issue. Because I don't have a workaround for like Robinhood. I know some people were saying you can use like a VPN or something, but I don't have a workaround for the wallet situation in New York. As of right now, they haven't done anything, but I know Robinhood, even with stocks, Robinhood was like one of the originals as far as for freezing assets and stuff like that. So it's not uncommon, or it wouldn't be unheard of if they were to do it again. So I know some people have said they were going to sell and buy back in. That's a personal decision. I don't know what your numbers are, or how far red you are, and stuff like that. I will say that if you are increasing coin count and stuff like that, and you're considering like DCA or messing that up, don't worry about that. And make sure that if you are going to try and average down, your DCA is going to be your DCA, even if they're in two different places. So if you're trying to offset to average down, whether you want to get out or just increasing your position, just make sure you do that somewhere else. Don't worry about the number actually coming down in Robinhood. You can figure that out based off of your actual coin count and your entries. So I would just say make sure if you are going to get more, just do that somewhere else. But as far as for the Robinhood, if you haven't sold, you haven't lost yet. So just make sure. I'm not sure if you've already sold or not, But just kind of keep that in mind too. If you haven't sold your coins and you still have your coins, you haven't lost just yet. So just if you're waiting it out, if you're long term and stuff like that, buy another platform, but don't consider it a loss unless you've already sold. So I hope that helps. I know I can't do anything about the wallet situation, but I hope that provided some clarity for you. Robinhood doesn't have wallets. I think Robinhood does have wallets. I have one. They definitely do have wallets. I'm still in Robinhood. I will look into removing my Dogecoin. Absolutely. I use the Ledger Nano series. If you're going to get one or any type of cold storage, make sure that you're going directly to the site. I have a link in the descriptions for that as well. But make sure that you're going directly to the sites, because if you go, even like on something like Amazon or different sites and stuff like that, you'll see that if it's not directly linked to the official site, just read the reviews. You'll see people saying that, it malfunctioned or they can't find their coins, and it's a whole mess out there. So don't risk, getting something that already has malware on it, and, you're going to end up losing access to your stuff and in the middle of you trying to do the right thing. So just keep that in mind. How come no one ever talks about Gemini? Gemini is a I made a couple posts about Gemini because it's really heart-wrenching, the TOS service and stuff. The TOS, let me see if I can find it on my page, because that's an excellent question. I'm going to switch over to my Twitter and we're going to take a look at Gemini here together, if I can find it quickly. Gemini is, here we go. All right, so I'm going to switch over to my Twitter and I'm going to tell you what Gemini says about Gemini, and you can kind of decide for yourself. So can you see that? Okay, so this is Gemini. Program risk. Your available digital assets will leave our custody, and you accept the risk of loss associated with loan transactions up to and including total loss of your available digital assets. We are not a depository institution, and our program does not offer a depository account. Participating in our program may put your digital assets at risk. Loans made through our program may not be secured. As a lender, you understand that you have exposure to borrower credit risk. Borrowers are not required to post collateral to you or to us. However, they may require collateral to secure loans that they themselves make. Transactions in digital assets may carry added risk compared to lending of other types of assets, because transactions in cryptocurrency are in many cases irreversible. Funds may not be recoverable in the event of errors or fraudulent activity. So, what does this mean? This means that when you put your money on your coins on Gemini, you are in fact a lender. Automatically, you are a lender. There is no "do not lend my shares" button and stuff like that. And they're pretty much saying that, hey, look, we're going to lend your money out. They are not required to put up collateral at all. And if they default or, risk fraudulent activity, credit freezes, anything of that nature, good luck. You took the risk. We are not a depository account, and you are entitled to nothing. So this is why I cover things like this and I post things like this to inform, but I try not to just go on like bashing, exchanges and stuff like that, because even before this started happening, I started writing about shorting and stuff like that to kind of inform. But I think that it's just important that we know that most crypto exchanges make money in very similar ways, right? Which is going to be on volume side, transactional, and then of course lending, which is going to make up the bulk, because the exchange is looking to be the middleman and pretty much make money no matter where the market goes, right? So whether it's up or down, you buying or selling, they're going to make money. And people are shorting, and especially in a bear market, shorting versus even in bull markets, they're to make money 24/7 with little to no risk. This is going to be your typical exchanges. You said, what about FTX? FTX has a lot more money. FTX is one of the whales in the market. It's one of the titans. They're all making money the same way. I'm not saying that they're all necessarily the same. There might be some minor differences there, but we haven't seen an exchange come out and say that, we're not necessarily like lending your crypto and stuff like that, because when you leave your assets on there, especially an exchange that offers like yield farming, staking, rewards program, it has many names. You have to keep in mind it's of no benefit for the exchange to be your wallet. So if they're campaigning for you to keep your coins on the exchange, to purchase the coins and keep it there on their exchange, it's of their benefit. And even if you look at here, if you go deeper into Gemini's terms of service and stuff like that, they're going to pretty much tell you that, hey, as long as this is on our platform, we're going to pretty much do with it as we please. It's your your coin, but you signed up. As long as it's on our platform, we know you paid for it, but you're a lender because you left it on our platform, so we're going to lend it out, right? So you're not even given the option here. So you have to kind of keep that in mind. FTX, they have similar programs. FTX just has more money. So, and if you look at how businesses typically, I'm going to put your question out so people know what I'm talking about. So when we look at questions and just business acquisitions and stuff like that, when I say FTX is a Titan, Titans all do the same thing when there's bear markets or corrections, which is they build in this down cycle, right? Amazon is a Titan, Microsoft is a Titan, Apple is a Titan in like the stock market. So if you look at the companies that they've acquired over the last decade or so, they've done these in bear markets, like pullbacks, corrections. These companies that didn't have a lot of money to survive the current times. So this is why you're going to see companies like FTX and stuff like that loaning out money, right? So this is pretty much like a bid to say that, okay, worst case scenario is they default, but instead of them defaulting and going out of business, they'll default. We'll acquire them. They owe us money. Now we have a larger market share. This is pretty much an expansion attempt or just a partnership right now, but it's just going to certainly evolve into an expansion by FTX. And it's not different than the stock market. Just right now, the crypto market is unregulated. So you have exchanges popping up overnight, right and left. There's a million of them. In 5 to 10 years, there will not be that many exchanges that are executed. You will have like probably a couple, maybe 3 or 4 market makers, and that's where most of the orders are going to get executed from. Similar to our stock market. A lot of these companies, they're going to be in situations like this. They're going to abuse leverage. They're going to go bankrupt. They're going to destroy relationships and stuff like that. The Fed is going to come in with stricter regulations on who can run an exchange, collaterals, and stuff like that. And these whales, the Titans, something like a FTX, a Binance, and probably like a Coinbase, they're going to be fine. They're going to be the major, the market makers. Does not make them safe for holding your coins on there. Makes it less likely that they'll default, yes, but does not make it safe because their number one priority is their business, not you. And I think if anything over the last few weeks has proven that, you should look at the actions and you'll kind of get like an idea from that. So really long-winded answer, but I hope that's why I don't talk about Gemini, and that's what I think about FTX. So I hope that answers your question. Please go to expectations for CPI reading. Thanks for your time. CPI is going to be, I don't believe inflation got better. I believe we're going to have an announcement of, 2 negative quarters. I believe they're going to say we're officially in a recession. And I do believe that they're going to, if they don't want this to last for a while, they're going to have to be more aggressive. I still take my same approach that I said in February and March. They need to be more aggressive with the rate hikes, because right now they're dragging it out, and Powell has been behind this for like 8-9 months. It took him like 2 months to even admit that there was inflation at all. And I think that as long as they are dragging their feet and not being aggressive, they're always going to be a step behind. Like 0.5, 0.75, that'd have been great in April. Yeah, they could have talked about it, priced it in and stuff like that, and it would have hurt the market a little more initially, but this would have put it'd be more progressive as far as getting inflation under control. because now we're like getting like almost halfway through July going into August, and we have absolutely no answers. And then they continue buying mortgage-backed securities up in as late as like April and May, which is stupid. So I don't expect anything positive tomorrow, even just based off of looking at Atlanta's report. But we'll see. And I think that's why, if you were on earlier in the video, I went over the spike that we got in shorts. That's why I believe we got that big spike today in shorts, is because they are anticipating some negative news and they want to get in front of that to see if they can drive profit. So that's where I am with the CPI numbers. Hello, everyone. I'm late to the line, so I'm starting from the beginning. Like, follow, share. David, thank you once again. I appreciate you, Kyle. Thank you. Thank you, ZT. Let's see. It's near impossible to get a wallet from Robinhood right now. So if I sell off the exchange, what's the safest place to buy in order to transfer to my Nano S? I would say if you have a Nano S, I was gonna say, because you can go to Ledger Live has a program as well, and I'm glad you brought this up as far as for Robinhood and their wallets. So as this goes on, you'll see two things happen, especially now that it's become a popular movement to move your coins off of the exchanges. You'll see the daily amount that you can withdraw is going to decrease dramatically to kind of slow the bleeding. And then you're also going to see things like the wallet coming out, and it's, if you're in New York or something like that, if you're enrolling for a wallet, these things may take a little longer for it to happen, because they know of the sentiment of the market right now, which is to remove the coin. So as of right now, you may see a delay in things like this in order to slow the bleeding, because ultimately, I mentioned this in my short, outside of crypto, it's you guys, us, that are the collateral. We are the assets. So they need to make sure that you stay on their platforms for as long as possible. When it comes down to executing, I'd say if you're going to buy some orders and stuff like that, I would use one of the Titans, one of the big guys, like a FTX, a Binance. If you can't use like Ledger Live, because you can just buy directly on there and transfer, on your Ledger. But I would use one of the Titans and transfer either. Just make sure that you have a wallet and stuff like that, and so that you're able to execute and move your coins over. But just make sure that whichever large exchange you use, just make sure that they have a wallet and you're able to move. Just do that ahead of time, because things can change very quickly. And before you do your transfers, always do test runs. I'm not sure if you've done it before, but just don't ever send the entire thing at one time. Do like small increments to kind of test it first, to make sure everything's working smooth, and then you'll then go for it. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. So you're saying Gemini is doing something that other exchanges are not? Nope, not what I'm saying. They're all the flip side of the same coin. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. See, well, AMC is moving up. Hello, David. Hello, the Sunday King. Yes, AMC. Yeah, the more expensive money gets, AMC will keep going up. Yeah, because it's going to get expensive to short, especially with these numbers coming out, and they keep raising the interest rates, making money more expensive. It's going to get real expensive to short some of these positions. See, I answered that. Not good as of right now. So I'm expecting them to announce we're in a recession. I say I won't lose money by selling off of my Doge because I have a good DCA, but I will lose money on Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. But I'd rather take a little loss than lose everything. Yeah, that's smart. I'm right there with you. That's intelligent. That's an intelligent move right there. A lot of people have been killing me saying that, they don't want to lose. They may take like a loss or something like that. I'm like, people don't have access to anything. And I'm going to do a video update on a particular exchange tomorrow. And we're going to go over and break down their press release and stuff like that. Because a lot of these things, they're not going to resolve very quickly. Especially you got companies filing for bankruptcy and stuff like that. That's not a quick turnaround. That's not a 2-week thing. Those things, that has to go through the court. It can be months, years maybe, before, a company files for bankruptcy and you have to get approved payments through that. That's not a quick turnaround. So you're thinking right where I'm thinking. I'll lose some versus everything in a heartbeat. What's potentially the bottom for Doge? Right now, unless this drags on and the Fed just keeps swinging and missing, I think that we've hit the, like the max pain as far as for now. I think we dipped down to like 4. I think that range has been really great. I know that without the mass shorting BS and the spikes and stuff that we've seen today, I know that Doge is technically, well, our shorts never went to 0, but even without the spike that we've seen today, it was easy for us to sit at around 6-7 cents. So the bottom price is hard just because of we're depending on the Feds to kind of get things under control and not have the shorts come in and spike the shorts and try and beat the price down, because the volume on Doge is low right now. I don't know if you were on the chat earlier when I looked at it, but the volume is low. So if they came in and put like a Mount Everest short on there or something like that, it's going to affect the coin like dramatically. So I don't see them doing that right now just because of the sentiment that's going on in the market and the exchanges. And if that particular exchange goes under, they're going to get margin called and have to buy those positions back. But it's just something we're going to have to look out for. But I do think we've hit I think we're a lot closer, and I think we've already hit that range for max pain on Dogecoin compared to something like a Bitcoin. So I do believe Bitcoin has a lot more room to consolidate, even historically, than where it is right now. So, and there's a chart that came out today, even on institutional investors. I think it's like 62% to like 34%. 62% are in favor of Bitcoin. 62% say that they favor Bitcoin going to 10K compared to like the 38% or so that say it's going to go to 30K, right? So you have more than half of the people believe that Bitcoin is going to go to 10 compared to 30. So that gives you an idea for the sentiment of the market. So hope that provides some clarity. Any news on KuCoin? I don't have anything on there. I need to, I got some notes, but I haven't reviewed them yet. I'll put something together. I'll probably do like a state of the market update. I haven't done one of those in a while. Can you average down your DCA by swapping Doge for SHIB in your if you're negative in Doge? You can't, so if you are like swapping down and stuff like that, you can technically like a dollar amount you can, but as far as for bringing your DCA down in a particular asset, if you swap it, it's not the same thing. You can, swap as far as for turning like a negative into a positive, like if you're measuring in dollars, but if you're measuring in an asset and you trade out of it, you're no longer in that asset. So I'm not sure if you're talking about actually in dollars and stuff like that, because you can always trade to turn a negative position into a positive position. That's not an issue. But if you're talking about bringing your Doge DCA down or something like that, that's not how that works. David, how long do most bear markets last? When can we see a bull run? The bear markets, I believe the average is, I want to say like 2.6 years or something like that. We're coming out of last year, we were in a technical correction or a bear market, and it was the shortest bear market in history because the Fed came out and started making it rain money, and it rallied and went off to the races. Historically, we are due for another bull run around 2024, early 2024 historically. And I know that a lot of the people that are invested right now, this is their first time and they're typically not familiar with cycles, and they think that 2020, 2021 is normal, and they may not be able to hold on till the next cycle. But historically, that's normally the reset period, right? And even if you look at crypto specifically, if you say historically, when does Bitcoin bottom out? Bitcoin typically bottoms out 11 to 13 months after its all-time high. So when would that be? That'll be around like October, November of this year. And that's the range typically where Bitcoin usually bottoms out at. When does Bitcoin typically rally? Bitcoin likes to rally and have its run to set its all-time high typically in December. That is historically its month, usually like right before Christmas. That's typically where it starts its climb to its new all-time high. So that will put us late 2023. These are not saying it can take that long. I'm not saying it can't go longer. Those are just, those are just the facts. So I hope that answers your question. But right now, chart-wise, we're on track for 2024. If they get things under control, or if they do some type of like U-turn here, we can see something sooner. But obviously, that's something that we're going to have to monitor ongoing. That's not something I can call right now, and I certainly can't see something like that in a chart. CPI bring Doge down even further. Slightly. I mean, it can. I think the shorts still believe in so. So we just have to kind of make sure that if that does happen, it's not because of shorts pushing the price down, creating these artificial sells. I don't think that the retailers are going to see a CPI like, oh my God, I better sell my Doge. But I think that can be the illusion that's put forward by the shorts. So that's just something you got to be careful of. If you don't have access to it, I'll be covering it. But typically, if we see like a big drop, or the CPI numbers come out and they're like, oh my God, it's terrible, and we wake up and Doge is like 4 cents or something like that, I can almost guarantee if you look at the short chart, you're going to see a green candlestick to heaven. So just kind of, just keep that in mind there. I don't think the retailers are going to sell right now. You know anything about the GME split? I believe it's like 4-to-1. And typically with typically with GME's price point being as elevated as it is, I'm pretty sure they thought it was going to come down by now. So overall, it means nothing. The price, you're just getting 4 shares for your original one. So technically, the same dollar amount you're going to have. But for people who are looking to get into it, they may be a little bit more incentive to buy whole shares. But even with fractional shares and stuff like that, for the people that want in on a coin, on a stock or something like that, you can do that. So I don't expect it to be a big dramatic difference. Let's see. Sorry, my chat refreshed, so everything got pushed up. Robinhood sucks. I say from experience. Yeah, it's a lot. Robinhood certainly had their share of obstacles. That's for sure. Let's see. I think it will come down to around 2 to 3 cents and then go up. Yeah, that's fair. That's not out of range for anything. We have to watch these numbers here, because with the volume being this low, they can certainly come in and take control of the price, at least temporarily. I do think that 2 or 3 cents or something like that, or even lower, would be a massive incentive for the holders to take action. I think that a lot of people will take positions in that range, so it'll be a great pushback, and then we'd have a rally upward. Hope you've been doing good. I have been. Hope you're well. Hope you're well too. Doge holders got a hold through SNL Coinbase listings, a war formula shortage, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos getting shorted almost 100%, and still get more shorted. Yeah. Doge holders, you guys have been through a lot. We've been through a lot this year. Just the community. It's been a wild ride, especially since Doge is just, like I'll say barely even like a top 10 coin, and for the amount of hate that it gets, it's ridiculous. But that shows that there's fear. So they're afraid of something. Bitcoin probably drop around 10 to 15K. That's a fact. I'm really adamant on Bitcoin hitting those numbers, especially with the fact that we have no concrete evidence of a reversal just yet in our macros. I'm really solidified in that movement. Let's see. What coins have you been buying lately? So my main coins, Bitcoin, Doge, obviously, Ethereum, Cardano, and I had a little bit of like some speculative coins, but just like a little bit like Sheeb, it's like SafeMoon and stuff like that. But those weren't my long positions. Those are like my gambles for this year. I made a video late last year saying that if I had to pick some coins to gamble on, but those aren't my long coins. But as far as for these price points here, no speculation just because of these entries. So definitely, Ethereum, Doge, Bitcoin, and Cardano. Those are my top coins going forward. Especially as long as we're at these prices, I just believe that it doesn't make sense to kind of split more than that, because these are the titans that I believe are going to come out on the other side of this. And I'm not saying that the other top 10 or the other coins in the top 10 are trash. Those are just my favorite. So hope that answers your question. Oh, and a little Litecoin too. I still have some Litecoin. I'll take one more. Please explain the program you're putting together. Thanks for the super chat. There's a couple programs I'm putting together. The one I'm doing on Friday is the one I'm going over, like I'm going over charts and trading pools of liquidity, like on a program that's used on Bookmap. And I'm going over pretty much like charts, indicators, how I overlay them. On Bookmap, it covers 5 exchanges for the pool of liquidity, including like Binance futures and stuff like that, FTX. And I'm going over all that and pretty much just to show how I compile data and how it leads me to the decisions and stuff that I make in the market. So that was for people who are looking to pretty much just gather how I put together information so they can incorporate that into their own styles and stuff like that, and be able to analyze, coins and stocks and stuff like that on their own that are different, or there's something that I may not even cover, but they'll have the ability to do that on their own. So that's what the programs and stuff that I put together. The other one is I go through like a full analysis on the market and stuff like that, and it includes like the weekly meetings I do like on my Patreon and stuff like that. And we pretty much meet weekly and we go over macros, whatever plays we're involved in together as a group and stuff like that. So it's a couple of different ones. So hope that answers your question. Let's see. I'll take one more update on AMC. No, I'm still holding my AMC shares. I'm still bullish on AMC. I think that with the, like the state of the market and the fact that money is getting more expensive, I expected this price increase in AMC. I'm very curious to see what the next update is going to be. I know the last one was that we own 90% of the float. I'm very curious to see what that update is going to be now, because I just want someone to explain, like mathematically, how someone owns 90%, 95% of the float, stuff like that. And then, 20, 30% of it gets traded in certain days. It's just, especially I'm hoping that the announcement we get next month on the earnings call just kind of closes that gap, so that even if he doesn't say 100%, even if it's just 95, I'm hoping that it closes that gap so that it can be like a gotcha moment. So that, at that point, it's just even though it's blatantly obvious now, but when you say there's only 5% of the float available, and, we're having turnover of, 8%, but somehow 20 and 30% of the float is being exchanged, then it's like, okay, explain that. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, up until that earnings call on the 4th. But I still hold my AMC shares, and I am still expecting great things from AMC. So I hope that answers your questions. I like chatting with you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more from me. I do have a schedule that I should be releasing within the next couple of days that we're going to be on, as far as for what you guys can expect kind of like ahead of time. So that adds some organization for you and will make things a little bit easier on getting information out for you guys. So definitely, I thank you guys for chatting with me. I appreciate all of you. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Have a good night.